Whoa! Look at all you brave and beautiful people. What a gathering. What a sight. How proud we can all be. I wish I was there with you today. You are showing the establishment that you don't fear them. You're willing to take a stand to show all of your beautiful faces. For years, those in power have worked hard to hide the truth about what they are doing to our country. They've worked hard to label and smear anyone and everyone who speaks out against them. But today tells you they've failed. Their lies have failed. The truth is out. 38 million people who could have voted didn't vote in July's election. They didn't vote for Keir Starmer and his cronies. Only 9 million did. That's less than the population of this once great city we're in now. This government has no mandate. We know it, they know it. They are locking up dissenting voices because they fear them. Political prisoners. I'm now one of many. Keir is terrified his political incompetence will be exposed. It's too late for that, Keir. Your lie about the winter fuel allowance is just one of the lies that you've told us. Keir is terrified his allegiance to nation-state destroying globalist agendas will be exposed. How they plan to take every one of your wealth and freedom, while they, a self-appointed group of deluded fools, control, tax and exploit all of us. He'll tell you he cares. It's just another lie. Keir is terrified that his prosperity-destroying policies will be exposed. His insane commitment to the lie of net zero. Keir is terrified people will realise he has no intention at all of smashing the people smuggling gangs. They're not going to stop the boats. And they'll find out there's 745,000 illegal immigrants living in Britain right now, more than any other European country. That's the equivalent of the population of Sheffield and Southampton combined. The real figures you could probably double. Each and every one of you is going to cost you £400,000 for each one of those individuals over their lifetime. That is £298 billion. That's 2,000 more times what they claim they've saved by cutting the pensioners' fuel allowance. Literally freezing people who paid into the system their whole life to death. And he's terrified that someone will break the super injunction and we'll all find out what he's been trying so hard to hide. Keir, you should be terrified. Look at this crowd today. We are seeing a great awakening, an uprising of British people, patriots coming together. We are sending you, Keir, a political message. We will no longer be ignored. We will mobilise politically. We will reach the 19 million people who didn't vote at all. They didn't vote, 48%. And we will return leaders to Parliament to serve us, the British people. So today, just by being here, you're making history. You are making your voices heard. You are resisting tyranny today. Enjoy today. I'm sorry I can't be there. Stand with your brothers and sisters. Stand for freedom. Stand for truth. And stand for our nation. Enjoy.
In his latest video, Tommy Robinson addresses a passionate crowd, applauding them as brave and beautiful people who have gathered to make a stand. He starts by expressing admiration for the courage they demonstrate in openly confronting the establishment, which, according to Robinson, has spent years masking the truth and marginalizing those who dare to speak out. His speech is directed not only at his supporters, but also as a message to the powers he believes are working against the people of Britain. Robinson claims the establishment has used tactics like labeling and smearing to suppress dissenting voices. But in his view, the presence of this large crowd signifies that these tactics have ultimately failed. Robinson goes on to highlight a key point: the low voter turnout in the recent election, with millions of eligible voters abstaining. He implies that Keir Starmer and his government lack a true mandate, arguing that their leadership was not won by the consent of a majority, but only a fraction of the population. He suggests that many have grown weary and disillusioned with the current state of politics, leading them to disengage altogether. According to Robinson, this disengagement represents silent discontent and a lack of trust in the present administration, which he sees as illegitimate. Central to Robinson's critique is the treatment of political dissidents, including himself. He portrays himself as one of many who have faced consequences for voicing opposition, describing the incarceration of political prisoners as a fear-driven tactic by the government. Robinson contends that Starmer and his administration are worried about the exposure of their incompetence and dishonesty. He mentions an example of alleged deceit: the winter fuel allowance cuts, which he claims hurt those who have contributed to society their entire lives by pushing them into poverty and cold. In his view, these policies are emblematic of a broader allegiance to globalist agendas, which he argues are orchestrated by a self-appointed group of deluded fools. According to Robinson, these globalist plans aim to strip citizens of their wealth and freedoms while centralizing control in the hands of a few. He accuses Starmer of pretending to care about the public's well-being while hiding his real intentions behind a facade of concern. He denounces Starmer's commitment to net zero, calling it a lie that distracts from his alleged indifference to pressing social issues like crime. The topic of immigration features prominently in Robinson's speech. He criticizes the government's approach, accusing them of failing to stop illegal immigration. Citing large numbers of undocumented immigrants, he claims that this influx places a severe burden on British taxpayers and represents a strain on public resources. Robinson suggests that the figures he's citing may be even higher than reported, which, he argues, could have far-reaching economic consequences for British citizens. Further, Robinson alleges that there are hidden scandals waiting to be revealed, mentioning a super injunction that he claims conceals information about Starmer's actions. He implies that there are deliberate efforts to prevent the public from understanding the full extent of what is happening behind closed doors. For Robinson, these undisclosed truths are a source of legitimate fear for the government, which he believes could lose control over the public narrative if exposed. Robinson concludes with a rallying call for unity and resilience. He urges those present to stand alongside their fellow citizens and uphold the values of freedom, truth, and national pride. His vision is one of a great awakening among the British people, where disenfranchised voters mobilize and return representatives to Parliament who genuinely serve their interests. In this view, the crowd's presence is not just an act of defiance, but a historic moment of resistance, a pivotal point where British citizens reclaim their voice and refuse to be marginalized. Ultimately, Robinson's speech paints a vivid picture of his beliefs, that a corrupt and fearful government is subverting democracy, and that only by standing together can the British people resist what he sees as a slide into tyranny. He calls on them to stand firm, celebrate their unity, and hold on to hope for a freer, more accountable nation. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join the free Telegram group linked in the description, where we can talk freely and uncensored about important issues like this and support each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a channel member for exclusive content. See you next time.